Hi, this is David, and this is Sicko Podcast.
Like, when did you decide, like, yo, I'm gonna try this comedy shit?
Bro, honestly, it's such a crazy thing. You knew me freshman year, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was
Yeah.
a goofball. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even try to be funny. I would do some funny shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was like my life growing up. Like as a kid, like people would laugh at me because I would do something funny, but like I'll get upset. Like, why are you laughing at me? Bro, you're funny. But like, it's like naturally like that. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like it's goofy. So like, I just wanted to like kind of hone that, you know what I mean? That kind of like natural clownery in a real way, you know what I mean? Like a wholesome way that people fuck with. But yeah, just like, brighten people's day up and shit.
I've been considered for Employee of the Month right now, which is really cool. Thank you, thank you. Um, it was odd because that's like not one of my life goals. You know what I mean? Employee of the Month in retail. Yeah, that's what I want. But my manager told me, he said, David, you need to be more vigilant in your department because someone stole a jacket. And if you can find the person that stole that jacket, we'll give you Employee of the Month. I got really excited until I remembered I'm the one that stole the jacket. You know what I mean? Right? Because it's actually this jacket I'm wearing right now. I'm dead serious.
I feel that. So during your like the first time, or like, what was the process of like, all right, I want to do comedy. Now I'm gonna start. Like, what was the first thing you did? Did you start writing first? Did you look up like some comedy stores to attend?
Yeah, it's a process. You always want, like, you need people to bounce off of, ideas off of, like, you gotta, you one can't go without the other, you know what I mean? Like, if you're writing, you gotta, like, be hitting the stage often. Hitting the stage often, you gotta be writing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because, like, it's a constant, like, right now, because of coronavirus, I haven't gone up the stage since, like, February or, like, March, February, I think. So, like, I'm like, I'm writing when I can, but like I'm like not hitting the stage, not like feeling it, you know what I mean? So like that's just an important process that you gotta keep going, like the tandem, you know?
I'm gonna tell you something I haven't told anybody, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought about doing comedy just like just because I think it's such an important skill. Not just telling jokes, but
Right.
writing jokes and just functioning in front of an audience. Because a lot of
Yeah.
people think oh, I'm funny. I could do that. I could do that if I really put
Right.
my mind to it. But it's
Yeah.
hard. It's not easy to just do a smooth set, do a smooth bit where you control the crowd, you make them laugh, and you're just confident in yourself.
Right.
Did you ever have
Yeah.
like any stage fright or?
Um not normally, not normally. My mom, she majored in theater in college and like she taught theater for a long time in high school, like for like high school students and shit, and like middle school students, you know what I mean? And she had me do like stage plays as a kid or whatever. So I was kind of used to it. There have been a couple times where I've gone on stage and done very bad, and like then I get stage fright, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like not normally. Like when I'm on stage, I feel kind of like in a natural setting, you know what I mean? But yeah, once you overcome that, the stage fright, like that's at least like a better act, you know what I mean, to keep people
Right.
enthralled into what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like you said before, that's what I learned too. Like it's more than just being funny; it's being like direct, like very like on point with what you're trying to say.
Do I have depression? And she was like, no, you have this combination of paranoia and anger and confusion. And I was like, thank you. I think that's called being black in America.
You know what I'm saying? And like some comedians, when you think they mess up, they really wrote that in there. You know what I mean? Which is like remarkable. But,
Yeah.
sorry, this is like a really big jug of water, but okay.
Nah, I feel that. I feel that. That's that gym jug.
Right? Right? That hangover jug, bro. You know, like when you was gonna
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. The only
yeah, bro.
the only thing that stopped me from actually going, because I was ready. I didn't start writing or anything yet, but I was just gonna like look at improv stuff and try to do something. And then quarantine hit right then and there, and I was like, fuck, that just another
Yeah.
thing that slowed down, because I was really looking forward to just having this whole like secret life, like
Yeah.
nobody would have known about unless you just saw
Yeah.
me. Is that Hilton? Like one of those, like
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Like just pop out and they were like, yeah, dude, I do comedy. Like you're on stage with bad people. Like people don't even know. Yeah, but like
Yeah.
I feel that, bro. I mean, just for now, just I would just say like look at other comedians, practice in your home. If somebody's near you, just torture them with your like tryouts. You know what I mean? 'Cause that's what I did with my roommates. Just like throw jokes at them. You know what I mean? Even if they're bad jokes, see what they
Hmm.
say. But like, yeah, don't be discouraged. I'm sure it's gonna be gone soon. Coronavirus. I mean, it's probably not, but like, I think it may be like, hopefully they get like treatment soon or some shit, man. Because it's just crazy, dog. Like,
Yeah.
this is like,
Yeah.
it's wild to me because like people like that don't want to stay inside or don't want to like just wear a mask. Like, bro, come on, you making it way tougher. But it
It's
is what it
tough
is.
because like those people like we see it like we see okay cases are going down, things are looking better. We're now thinking about phase one, phase two, and then people are like, all right,
Yeah,
bet let me go out without a mask. It's summer, it's hot.
right,
Let's hit the beach.
right, right. We out, like, you
Hookah.
know what I mean? Right? Like,
Like no.
everybody make sure they share blunts and shit.
Yeah.
Like that's a crazy part. Like, just making sure you're spreading germs. Like, damn, man, it's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
It's just
man.
like that's the thing. Like, we're such like this coronavirus thing. Like, I've seen memes and like I'm kind of like a part of this thing too, where people say, like, "Oh, I was social distancing before coronavirus." Like, a lot of us do like to like the social climate. We kind of like retracted from each other before this even happened. I feel like to a certain degree, like a lot of us just kind of like felt like depressed or like sad, like they kind of like recluded, like came back to themselves or whatever. Like, and then now this happened, and we all have to do that collectively again. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. You know what I mean? It's just a real crazy experience. But
Yeah, man. And it's crazy just seeing like how like this time has affected just different corporations and businesses because like
right?
the NBA is out and
Yeah,
they're thinking about coming back, but it's just funny how like each huge corporation is sort of adjusting to it. Like the NBA
yeah.
has the bubble that they're trying to do in LA and in Florida. Um, and what else? The UFC has a fight island. Like
Like, yeah. Mortal Kombat, bro. This is Mortal Kombat. Man.
yeah.
Like,
And
yeah,
the one of the weirdest things I saw just relating to comedy, because I was thinking, I was like, damn, what are comedians doing? Like at the Laugh Factory, they're having like they're still having stand-up comics just with no audience, and they're performing, and you could see the performance like live on Zoom, and it's just weird
right.
because the only person
It's weird. It's
reacting to
bizarre.
it is the host.
Yeah,
So it's just
because
like
that
one
that
person.
shows
Yeah,
like that just shows you our like American like we're addicted to like um our own culture. You know what I'm saying? So we can't stop for 1 second just to, like that's because our culture is capitalism. It's making money. You know what I mean? That's all we think about. It could have been good for our economy, honestly. Like with the way things were going, we were heading for like you remember the '08 recession?
yeah.
Like we were heading for like another economic collapse. Like that's and like they get bigger and bigger every year because like there's more and more at stake. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like an economic cool down really could have helped us. You know what I'm saying? Really could help us in the long run. And like it's just we're just too afraid of like being with ourselves. A lot of Americans couldn't stand being alone with their families, with themselves. Like it's just a really deep issue on multiple levels. Like, it's just like when we really get past this, where it's like, yo, post COVID for real, like it's a whole different country. I feel like it's gonna be a whole different country.
Yeah, man. Like just speaking on that topic, like I was kind of surprised, but I guess not shocked when like after quarantine, like a couple months in, divorces were at an all-time high,
Wow,
separations and
makes
shit.
sense.
It's
Yeah,
like
you're just like realizing they don't have things that let them like ignore their real life. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? That's just crazy. That's like spiritual almost. To have that happen to like the most powerful country on earth. You know what I mean? Like that's like
Mhm.
what the fuck.
Yeah, man.
I'm
But
chilling though. I'm chilling. All I'm doing is lighting up, getting high, bro, chilling. Like I'm sitting low. Like I'm not doing shit extra. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I don't be going to no parties, no nothing. I hit the store, I come back. You feel me? Like ain't trying to be on no bullshit like that. Like I really think about it, like you try to like is catching a dub more important than like not catching coronavirus? Like you know what I mean? Like do you really need Vibes Cartel right now, bro? Like come
Yeah.
on, man. Like
These
yeah,
are these are the questions. Like some people are willing to risk the biscuit, man. Like, You know, because I was talking to one of my friends, and he made a good point. He was like COVID, like for our generation, for the single dating generation, is kind of like a STD sort of that
Yeah,
that you gotta,
yeah. I feel that.
yeah, you gotta think about this like before you even like do anything with somebody. Like, oh, are you gonna get tested, or are you gonna risk
Right,
it?
and
And
it's not like go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, and I was saying, and it's something that people are sort of willing to risk it. I've seen.
Yeah, and it's like it's just crazy because it's like it's not like oh you can't finesse it like but the thing is like if you think about regular STDs like you can get finesse like you can like oh let's do this so I don't like catch this you know what I mean like in regards to, like hookup culture but like you can't even get within 6 feet bro like you know what I mean like with you know what I mean so it's just like wow like it's really like where you be at like that possessive relationship aspect is now like in like you know what I mean like you know people can be like possessive in their relationships right
Yeah,
like where you been at, where you going. But like those are like legit questions now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a legitimate question.
yeah,
Wait, why you over here? Where you at? Like, you know what I mean? Like, cause like if you catch that shit, like I could literally like lose a lung or some shit. Like it's crazy. Like
yeah. That's for a fact, man. Just like in terms of just this quarantine thing, man. How's it been affecting? I guess like your mental health. How have you been like keeping yourself from not going crazy?
bro, I tell honestly for me, I smoke weed, bro. That's me personally. I also like I pray a lot. I pray. You know what I mean? I do pray to God. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I see God differently than most people, or like a lot of people, but like I'm still very spiritual. Not as like tap in with friends. I'm always on that creative shit, always writing, always like watching shit, take like, you know, breaking it down, like doing what I love to do. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, because like I fuck with like conversation and shit, like cultural shit. So like I'm always like staying within the culture, you know what I mean? Cause like I love it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But you know, but like it gets to me though. It gets me a lot. You know what I mean? I'll be real upset sometimes like about everything, you know what I mean? So like my
yeah.
voice cracked. But like I'll be upset about everything. But yeah, man, what about you though? How do you do it?
For me, before I started this podcast, um, it was just a lot of just doing what makes me happy. I had to figure out what makes me happy again, because as you mentioned,
You
like
say that again?
I had to like figure out what makes me happy. Just under this new environment of
Mhm.
um, of not being able to go outside as much, staying inside, and just what can I do to make me happy and not make me fucking think about the shit that's going down. So before
Yeah.
I used to just like I'd hit up friends, we'd watch like shows together and talk because I need to be social. Uh, that's just something that I figured out. I started like picking up more
You
hobbies.
keep breaking up. You keep breaking up
I
for
keep
me.
breaking up. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay. I can hear you. Yeah.
All right, but you can hear me now.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I was just saying that being social, um, that kept me sane, picking up hobbies of like shit to do. Like so that's why I started YouTube, and started this podcast just so I could like talk to different people and shit like that. So that's keeping me good right now.
Yeah. I feel you. Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, bro. Yeah. That. And every day I wake up, I just tell myself like, we're one day closer to a cure or something like that. I know somebody's gonna get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The scary thing is like, are they gonna charge us a lot for it? Because that's just sad if they do. But I know we're getting closer to a cure. I hope so. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I
but
wouldn't. Yeah, go
it
ahead.
just sucks seeing other countries that are like free right now. They're like pretty much good, like Australia, Italy. Like they handled it like just right. You know what I mean? But here we are, this wow.
Yeah. The fucked up thing
It's
though, it,
crazy.
it, o- it only takes one person to visit those countries that are free to fuck it up again. I think,
Yeah, without if they don't go through proper protocol. Yeah,
yeah, I think that happened with China, and
yeah,
that's just like one of the things that depresses me about this, because it's like, all right, even if let's say like things are going normal to an extent, but coronavirus is still around, there's going to be a lot of restrictions on travel, and I want to travel. I want to see the world.
Right.
That's
You do, yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. And it's scary because like down the line, like imagine 20 years from now, we don't hear about it. You know what I mean? But then like, you have kids or whatever, and you hear like there's a coronavirus outbreak in your city, you're like, oh shit, like, like you just have flashbacks, you gotta get your kids inside, like, wear your mask. And they're like, what's going on? Like, it's just like it's like it's one of those things, man, like one of those crazy stories you hear about, you know what I mean? It's like it affects your life heavily. Like think about a kid born in like 2003 and he has to fly somewhere. He's like, oh, why do I have to do all this crazy shit at the airport? Because of 9/11, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't even know about it. But it's just like, it affects your life, a multitude of ways, man. Like, that's crazy, man.
yeah, man. Um, where do you? How do you come up with some of your like ideas for your jokes? Like, cause I heard the Liam Nielsen take.
Yeah, Liam Neeson.
About the movie ideas I've been trying to write. So like I got this one idea. It's about this is gonna have to have like Liam Neeson in it. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be just like Taken, except it's like in the past, and he's a slave catcher. And it's gonna be called Taken, but taken back to the plantation.
Taken back to the plantation.
Yeah, bro.
That shit
I
was,
just think like,
yeah.
yeah, thank you. It's just you just I don't know how to explain it. I just think about shit within the context of like race, economics, gender and sexuality in regards to like, like insecurity, you know what I'm saying? How insecurity plays a role in our lives based on our position within like our society, you know what I'm saying? And insecurity pushes us to do like the craziest shit, you know what I'm saying? So Leo Neeson's story, he said his friend was sexually assaulted by a black man. And the thing is, in where he's from, black doesn't necessarily mean African. It means African, Indian, Australian, Native Australian, like people with really dark skin tone across the world. But like he was going out looking for a black man to fight, and like that's your insecurity. Like you feel like, oh, my community is being attacked, but that's not really reflecting the wider truth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what like a lot of like white men here in America and across the world have been running on is like insecurity. And like black men on insecurity, like everybody kind of like has a relationship to insecurity, but you gotta like manage that. You know what I'm saying? So like that's where my jokes come from. Like a lot, just like what like in that blind rage of insecurity, what stupid shit would you do? You know what I'm saying? Where can we like, where can I go with that? So taking back to the plantation, like probably have a good time doing that, like trying to catch black people. But yeah,
I do think that stems from insecurity and just misdirection in terms of where to place your blame and how to really exercise that feeling.
right. A healthy way or like, yeah, more appropriate way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
What's
Crazy world,
yeah, man. What's one of the, I guess you mentioned that you've had a few bad shows. Have you ever been heckled?
No, not really. Never been heckled. I've forgotten lines on stage. I've frozen up. Never heckled to a full. I've been heckled at open mics, but like it's only like 5-10 people there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not in like the 1970s with like Richard Pryor and like 80s with Eddie Murphy because like they got heckled. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and they were talking their shit right back. You know what I mean? Like, but nowadays like heckling is like less happens less, and also like I'm tall and black, so everybody thinks I have a smart mouth. So they're kind of like less to like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I've been on like shows and like been at mics where like some guy in the crowd heckles a bunch of comedians, but won't heckle me because he knows I talk hot shit. You know what I mean? He'll think I talk hot shit. You know what I mean? But
I feel you.
you know,
Have you ever thought about like writing like comedic shows? Like, how far do you want to take this?
yeah, I have a lot of writing ideas, man. I wrote a film. I've written 2 films. I got to edit them. You know what I'm saying? Like I've had people like edit, like read over them. They're not very good, but like I'm trying to like understand like ideas I'm trying to portray on screen. I love like concepts of like humiliation. You know what I'm saying? Like false from grace. I really like that. I want to like create art that's like gonna help like promote a conversation and like create a vibe. So I want to create like concepts that we don't talk about with like the black community. You know what I'm saying? Like the concept of like the strong black man, like what that look like when it like fails. but like in a very like non mighty way. You look at like black male stories like Martin Luther King, like Malcolm X, like Tupac, like it's very like, oh, they got killed or like they were like a proud person, they died in a proud manner, you know what I'm saying? Like what if and their stories is always seen as like very like um selfless. The selfless stories that we promote that are being promoted. So I wanna like kind of like talk about more like black men with like selfish motives. Like a lot of us have selfish motives, you know what I'm saying? Black men within the capitalist system, black men that fail, black men that succeed, but like succeed at like a certain cost. And like I want to talk about like what is morality within capitalism, you know what I mean? Like what it like that's the type of shit I want to talk about in like a funny way, but also like a dark way. I like dark humor, you know what I'm saying? Things are like, yo, like, but it's like Get Out really inspired me. Get Out, but like, yeah, man, because shit's just crazy. Like this Trump election and shit, all this shit really changed my perspective on life. You know what I mean? Like it's just one big like meme or some shit, bro. Like at this point, like it's just comedically stupid. It's just so stupid. It's like so sad. It's funny. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Just films that speak about black stories that aren't cliche, right? Like,
Yeah.
because we've seen like those BT movies where it's just like gangsters, and then on
Yeah.
it's either street stuff or slave stories or black power, black inspiration stories in terms of like hidden figures or MLK,
Yeah.
Malcolm X, etc., or just about sports in general. I think that just like these bubbles or these categories, they are like that's not the extent of what being black in America is, and those aren't the stories to do. It's
Yeah. Like we gotta.
yeah.
I want to tell. I want. Have you seen? I think this one called Black Monday with Don Cheadle. I think Regina Hall and like Don Cheadle.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
I think
so.
it's on like show or Showmax or like HBO or something like that. And like he's a Wall Street exec in the '80s. And he's black. And it's a very cool like story. Is kind of different, kind of like Wolf of Wall Street vibes for black people. But yeah, I want more stories of like black corruption, even like black like I don't know, showing us as imperfect because we're human. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's like, but like at the same time, it's like that's happening now with like a lot of like black female creators, black women, black queer people who are making like very like cutting edge material, you know what I'm saying, at the same time. So like gotta highlight them, like Michaela Cole, she has a show out. I forgot what it's called. Let me look it up real quick.
Have
Let me
you?
see it. You know Michaela Cole, the
Yeah.
one with the perfect jawline?
Yeah. Have you seen Moonlight?
No, not yet.
Yeah, I think Moonlight is. I recommend it, bro. I think it's sort of
Okay.
like of like what you're trying to say in terms of the black movies that show like the humanity. It's not just black and white in terms of things. It's about this like it's basically about this the journey of this black boy who is gay and he has to come to terms with.
No, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And no, I know the film how it goes. That's why that's why I never watched it because like I know I'm gonna be crying. I hate watching films that make me cry. Like I've seen the synopsis, I've seen the clips. I was like, I don't feel like crying. You know what I mean? Like but like, and that's the thing. Like that's what we need to talk about though. Like when you look at like black stories, like Moonlight is a great example of that. Like stories that aren't being told, stories that we can truly relate to. You know what I mean? Some in one way or another. You know what I mean? Because like every story we can relate to one way or another. Like that's the point of those stories being told. You know what I'm saying? Like um, but yeah, man, like, what was I saying? Yeah, and also like and it pervades like other aspects of culture, like Triple X Tentacion.
Yeah.
He's from Miami, and one of his biggest songs is called Moonlight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what that means per se, but it's just like, you know what I mean, like a whole vibe. Like you look at like trauma centers in the United States, like large cities with, I call them trauma centers, like large cities with like notorious hoods. You know what I mean? Like Miami's one of them. It's up there like, like Compton is up there with like, the Bronx, Southside Chicago. Miami-Dade County's up there, you feel me? So like, so a story like Moonlight reflected off a hood like that is pretty like, it's remarkable. You know what I mean? It's remarkable.
Yeah, yeah, man. So what if you don't mind me asking, yeah, what is like you said you wrote two films. What's one of them about? Or because
One is about this black uh, about this black guy that starts a cult on his campus, on his college campus, and like supposed to it has a bunch of these underlying ideas. Like it's so like fetus, like you know what I mean? Like it's nowhere near ready, but like
yeah,
it just but I want it to be like a parody of like what's happening today. You know what I mean? Like a satire on what's happening today with like everything being so fake yet so real. You know what I mean?
mm,
So like and like so I'm always obsessed with like religion and spirituality, low key too, like how people relate to it, why people do certain paths in regards to like how they relate to like oneness or God or Om Diao. You know what I mean?
mm.
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like um I attempted well, I didn't attempt. I started writing like a book, or I tried to like a couple years ago in college. And I wanted to I think this was like sophomore year. Um so 2016, like the year that Trump was about to get in office. And I wrote like the prologue and the first chapter, and what the book was or was about. It was based around, or at least the beginning of it, based around like police brutality. In terms of there was two characters. One was this black cop named Bard, Officer Bard, and then the other one was Officer Cecil or some shit like that. And there's like I think Bard in Muslim means some shit. Because I wanted like things to be symbolic. So I think Bard means like carrier of the faith or something like that, and Weasel means like snake. So it was a white officer Weasel and black officer Bard. And Officer Bard, another symbolic thing, he had that disease where you start growing white spots. I forget the name of it, but it's like a yeah, that's a skin disease in Lego. Just because to and that was supposed to represent his internal conflict with just self hate as a black person, and shit like that, because that's something that all black people go through in America, and just in general, just that internal conflict of getting past your own self hate and getting past, trying not to be a part of this culture of this white culture, just to be accepted and just to be, feel right. And I was gonna do the whole thing where there was gonna be like maybe a race war in it, or maybe like basically a Malcolm X type character that's like a villain of the story because he's too radical. But is he really a villain because of shit that we've gone through? And you know, it's crazy because the way that the story I had it played out, it's almost like what's happening now minus the coronavirus, minus the COVID. Because I would have never expected that shit. But just in terms of this race, climate situation thing that's going on in America, you know, I'm just waiting for some shit to go down in terms of just radical uh, person, you know, who's black and wants some shit to happen, and then just on the flip side, just like because like the white racists are waiting, and they've been waiting for a long time for a race war. I've been talking.
Well, that's
Yeah, I was talking to my friend about it. I was talking to my friend David about it, and I was just saying like I don't think we'd win a race war. And we don't want a race war. I don't think the black community wants a race war. We don't want that. It's just like we don't want it to have to even get there because one, we're not ready for one. And two, it's not that serious. We're just saying that we're equal. Like why do we have to fight a whole war just for that?
So like my problems come from being like a political science major in 2016. Just to let you guys know, poli sci is the worst major out right now. All of our class discussions are like gang turf wars, you know what I mean? Like the professor will say some real simple basic shit like, black people are black. And then there'll be like a fucking MAGA supporter who's like, well, actually, and then like, well, actually.
I feel like in regards to like preparing for a race war, I feel like one thing we need to notice is like more black people are prepared for warlike conditions in this country than white people are. Like going without resources being messed up, needing to rely on one another. Like, um, I don't think we would necessarily win, but like the goal would be more so just to have America fuck itself up enough so that it can't be a global leader and everything like it is. Like, you know, there's China waiting right there. You know what I mean? So it would be more of a black revolution would be more of a global revolution. And our fight would be to like mess it up as much domestically so that internationally they can push off. But then like who do we lead in, like as a global country? Like shit, we don't want China to be a global leader, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, America's doing this thing. But I think that like you look at our culture, like rap music, all those things, like those things have been prepared us for like there are gun sounds in the songs for a reason. You know what I mean? It reflects the trap or the hood, yeah, but like it just has you like mentally prepared for like shit might pop off. You know what I mean? But like what was my last point? Erase. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My bad, man. My bad. But it's complex. I wouldn't want to go like you can't. That's what I was gonna say. You can't go for want to fight a war before you're organized. We're not organized enough. That's 100% true. Us black people, we're not organized the way we need to be to fight a physical war. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if you look at our goals, if we actually had to go to a physical war, what would they be outside of us fighting white people? Like we said within the film industry, it's like the context we're looking at is not just like black and white. You know what I'm saying? There are other people here, other people who have their problems with America. You feel me? So like we have to take advantage of that, but also like we have to get organized. We have to get like economically organized to like fight a war. And like that's the thing is I feel like it's gonna be more of a cultural war. What's happening right now, I feel like is a cultural war is brewing, like in like film and music. And while people are dying due to coronavirus, that's like the casualties. You feel me? Like you know what I mean? Like the Civil War from the 1860s, that killed 600,000 Americans. And that was the most we ever lost in a war, was a Civil War. We went against each other. You know what I'm saying? So this shit could be like a Civil War, but on some like Marvel Civil War type shit with different like factions. And then like the coronavirus is like the real life casualties. It's really crazy, you know what I mean? It's really crazy. But it's just, it is what it is, you know what I mean? Like,
I think that, that just in general, just all those things that you mentioned, I think that, the black community recognizes that, a war, like an actual physical war, is not the goal. Because one, it's not in anyone's best interest. And two, it's not something that we want, right? So that's why um, our protests, like, yes, there are riots, but it's not riots like literally attacking people. It's attacking institutions. We're going after the capitalists. We're attacking the capitalism of America because that's what it values most, like the black dollar. Like we remind America how powerful the black dollar is by, oh, we're not going to shop from here anymore. We're not going to support this business anymore. And that makes them listen. And yeah, man, just speaking, like we're not organized, and that was all by design. Like all these webs that we're trying to, untangle just ourselves from, just not the black community, but all these communities that are disenfranchised. They were all by design. Like the drug problem in the black community that we're sort of leaving now. It was, back in Reagan, there was like, we're gonna systematically provide this community with drugs so that they destroy themselves. It was always about providing our community with tools to destroy ourselves. So, you know, it's fucked up, but I'm glad that, now we have so many allies that, I guess are aware and are educating themselves.
yeah. And that's what helps, people educating themselves, people educating each other. You mentioned capitalism. I think one thing we gotta talk about in regards to capitalism is black capitalists. You know what I mean? What we want as a culture, as a people, we want to aim for like more of, I believe, right now, a socialist society, and that starts within our community. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like we have to look at like capitalism from within our community, look at the billionaires, the various billionaires within our community, multi-millionaires, like hundreds of millions of dollars, and say like, look at where the dollars are going and seeing like where their charity, is it charity, or is it like, oh, well, like it's for like tax write-offs, you know what I mean? Like how much of that wealth truly being redistributed back into the community, you know what I mean? Because we're not at a point in our community where we can allow such pervasive capitalism to keep running while we're so poor and being hurt from such different environmental factors. You know what I mean? I think that's a part of like Black solidarity. Black solidarity is like it's based on class, like Black people across class coming together, education, and we're like getting rid of like the lines based on like gender identity and sexuality within our community. So we'll build a stronger, like a real community. Like, and I think that's the first step towards really organizing. You know what I'm saying? When we take away those capitalist lines, you know what I mean? Then it's like, bam, like we can see each other for who we are. So they were like the fucking Avengers or some shit, bro. It's fucking crazy. Like it's like gonna be crazy. We're like the fucking Avengers, bro. Like,
yeah. Yeah, what do you think about like all the other shit that's just like really not being talked about in terms of, I don't know if you remember when the US government, the US Air Force admitted that to basically that UFOs are real, that there was a particular video that came out with that showed a radar of an encounter between like a US force jet and fleet.
yeah.
Like some like unidentified.
And that shit, hey, and that shit was moving, bro. That shit was gone, bro. that shit was crazy. I was like, yo, like that shit was moving. But I mean, shit, fuck. I believe like aliens, maybe, like you know what I mean. Like I believe, shit, maybe Black people are aliens. You know what I mean? Like shit, like maybe that's some mothership looking for some shit. You know what I mean? So. I like aliens. I can see that, you know what I mean. But it's crazy. Like it's a big ass universe. Who knows, man? Who knows, man?
Yeah, it's funny just thinking so big, like just growing up in general, like these thoughts of like space and aliens. It was just always in the back of my mind, just because I was like, damn, if aliens do exist and they are real, if there's life outside of Earth, what will that change about just society in general in Earth? Like, like in terms of the biggest pocket is religion. Like, what religion pockets will be affected by the existence of aliens? Like, will that affect atheists? Will that affect Christians, Muslims, etc.? Like, will these aliens come out of nowhere? Like, oh yeah, we believe in Jesus, or like, or Allah, or
But like, yeah, I was like, what if they're like? I think about their race. Like, what are they gonna look like? Are they gonna be like humanoid with skin tone? Like, what if there's like a race and they're all like, and it's like they're Black, and they're like on their planet is this but reverse. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like for some reason, some way, Black people were like the capitalists. They were the ones doing all this. You know what I mean? Like, or who knows? Maybe it's like who like I keep saying Black people, but of course, like whatever. Like, there's so many possible ideas. That's kind of like scary. You know what I mean? Like.
yeah.
If it's a fucking like amorphous blob or some shit, like what the fuck do we do then? Like, how is it talking to us? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, that's just crazy, bro.
I honestly would not be surprised if like they reveal themselves like this year or some shit. Like 2020
Yeah.
is just ridiculous, bro. At the end of my podcast, I have this thing because I call each episode a page, right? It's like the book of life and different characters. And so there's a story ongoing dictated by my guests. You ever played that game where you say a sentence, continue on a story from a previous sentence? Yeah, so that's basically what's going on. So I'm gonna tell you like the last two sentences said by like previous guests, and you have one sentence to continue on the story. All right, so all right, what happened was Cardi B, Rick and Morty went to the Bronx to her abuelita's house to basically party and have a good time in bachata. Then Morty, I think it was, went out to realize that he doesn't eat meat because they had salami and whatever. Realized that he doesn't eat meat, so he went outside to a vegan store and got himself some food. And then from there, you can basically say whatever you want. You can say then he got robbed, or then he went back to the crib with Cardi B and Rick. So yeah.
Yeah. Um, dang. Let me think. He got robbed by a Haitian man with a brimmed hat.
So then he got robbed by a Haitian man with a brim hat.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Okay, bet. That's your part of the story. Thank you so much for being a part of this podcast, man. It was great.
Of course, man.
It was great catching up. I loved the conversation. I loved your comedy, and yeah, man, appreciate you.
Thank you. Of course, man. Thank you for having me.